Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing good. Today's video we are going to be doing a Q&A. I made a YouTube short and I asked you guys to ask me questions about me, about crochet, about F&D or anything you wanted to know the answers to, and I have actually got a few questions I'm going to be answering in this video to help you guys get to know me better. And yeah, so yeah, let's get started. I am going to also be working on a little granny square blanket. I'm going to be donating to the NICU in my hospital. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna, yeah. Okay, so the first question is by Ivy, and she said, when did you start doing crochet? I started crocheting in 2023, I think. I've been crocheting for about 3 years. I think it was at the end of lockdown, maybe, I think. But yeah, it was about 3 years ago, so that was a pretty easy question to answer. Next question is by your girl, and she said, when will you start making tutorials for us to be able to watch? Now, I have already made a YouTube video. If you scroll down a bit on my page, I've already made a video on how to do the beginning stitches, like single crochet, double crochet, half double, magic ring and everything like that. And I also do have a video on my YouTube shorts on a magic ring. If you scroll down, I have tried to pin it, but for some reason YouTube won't let me pin that that video, sorry. But if you guys want tutorials, let me know about what sort of tutorials you want. I really struggle with explaining things. I'm not very good with my words with stuff like that. So I mean, if that's what you want, I can always do my best. I'll always do my best. But yeah, so I am happy to make them, but just let me know what sort of tutorials you want. The next question is by Alexa, and she said, what is the best yarn to use and crochet hook for beginners? I always recommend anything but plush yarn to begin with. I was really stubborn and I went straight into plush yarn. I couldn't make a magic ring. I struggled 10 times more than what I would have with acrylic. Acrylic, you can do your magic rings a lot easier. You can see your stitches a lot easier. I would always recommend acrylic yarn, whether that's a weight 4 or like an Aran, or yeah, always recommend an acrylic. And hook size, I would always recommend going up a hook size. Don't use a smaller hook size. If you were to go, oh, I want to use a 4.5, use a 5.5, because that way you also get to manage your tension. If you use a smaller hook and your tension's tight, you will not be able to get through your stitches. But if you use a bigger hook, you will be able to see your stitches more clearly and you'll be able to go through your stitches a lot easier. Next question I have is from Pops. She's asked 3 questions. So the first one she has asked is, why are you in a wheelchair? That is a very good question. Now, I am in a wheelchair. I'm not permanently in a wheelchair for people who don't know me, but I am in a wheelchair because I have a condition called F&D, and that stands for Functional Neurological Disorder. And that condition affects very few people. I think last time I checked, it affects like 1 in every 100,000 people. And due to that, everybody has different symptoms, but my main symptom is seizures. Obviously, that's great. But yeah, and when I have seizures, I can have different symptoms with after the seizures. So if I have a bad seizure, I can become temporarily paralyzed. I can forget things. I can lose memory loss. I can lose the ability to talk. I can have limb weakness. I can have locked limbs, and the list just kind of goes on. But those are my top symptoms that I suffer with. And another symptom I suffer with is functional tics. It just looks like Tourette's to anyone who doesn't know what functional tics are. You wouldn't know the difference between them if you didn't know what F&D was, kind of, in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I'm not good with my words, like I said. So that is why I'm in a wheelchair. I had a sleep seizure. I went to bed able to walk and I woke up unable to walk. And it's actually been 2 weeks today since I have been in my chair. It is frustrating. It takes all my independence away. Not that I had much in the first place due to my seizures and stuff, but I had a lot more independence than what I do in my chair. It definitely gets the better of my mental health sometimes, but you just got to remember that there are people out there so much worse off than you, and I'm still grateful to be able to get my legs back, hopefully sooner rather than later. There's so many more people that are worse off than me, so I don't want to sit here and complain about something that I know I'm going to get back just because I don't know when I'm going to get them back. One of my friends have FND, and her legs are still gone, and they've been gone for 3 years. So it really does just depend on when your brain decides to work again and put all those signals back together so you are able to stand, and then your brain also then has to figure out how to walk again, if that makes sense. So your brain will learn to stand and you know how to walk, but your brain doesn't understand how to put one foot in front of another. So it's not just about weight bearing, it's then also about walking, and it's painful and it takes a while. It takes longer, the longer your legs have gone, to be able to figure that out. But yeah, that is why I am in a wheelchair. Another question she asked is, what is my favourite yarn? Now, I kind of went through a phase of having favourite yarn. The first year I was only into plushies. Second year I was only into acrylics and wearables and blankets and stuff. And then on the third year, the year I'm in now, I'm kind of in the middle of, I love making plushies, I love making blankets, and I just kind of use a bit of both. So my favourite acrylic yarn is Cairn Simply Soft. I know that's a love-hate yarn. It does split, so I can understand why people don't like it, but I just personally love that yarn. And my favourite acrylic yarn, plush yarn, sorry, it kind of varies. At the moment it's Premier Parfait Chunky, but I also really like HMBB. She is a UK crocheter who has brought out her own brand of yarn. I love Jelly Baby. It's like the UK version of Parfait Chunky. I just having a look at my stash. But yeah, I would say those are probably my 3 favourite plush yarns. I do also like Hobie, but I'm not paying £7.10 for a skein, so I wait for that to go on sale because that's a ridiculous price to pay. And she also asked again, when will you make a tutorial for us to start crocheting? I think I answered that question in a previous question, so yeah, let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best to try and make it happen, and make it make sense, I think is probably my struggle. My next question is by Richard, and they said, where do you get your fluffy yarn from? Now, Premier Parfait Chunky is an American brand, so obviously I can't just go to the store and get a skein or anything. I do have to order in bulk. I don't have to, but if you order in bulk you get free worldwide shipping, and the shipping's like £65, so I obviously order in bulk. So that is where I get Premier Parfait Chunky from. HMBB yarn I get from HMBB herself. Her name is Tasha. She's a small business. She's over on TikTok mainly. She has her own website. I will leave the link to her website down below if you guys are interested and you are in the UK. Her yarn is amazing, and it's the easiest yarn I would say to do magic rings with. And Jelly Baby and stuff like that I get from a seller called DIAMANTE Craft. Yet again, they have their website. I will link the website in this video. They also have a TikTok, and they go live every day at 7 PM. They always have giveaways and challenges and Tenner Tuesday and everything like that on. And they do it really cheap prices, I'm not gonna lie. Another one by Mia. How old was I when I started to crochet? I'm 22. I was 19 when I started crocheting. So yeah. Another one by Anya. Will you ever do videos of teaching us how to crochet? Okay, so it actually turns out quite a few of you want me to make videos on how to teach you how to crochet. Like I said, I do have one. I'm not sure if you guys have obviously seen that one because it is a bit lower in my videos, but definitely check that out. And then, like I said, just let me know what sort of tutorials you want to see. I know people have asked me like, oh, can you show me a tutorial for the panda you made, which is this little guy. but this is a paid pattern, so I can't obviously show you how to make stuff like that. I can only show you stuff that I have freehanded, or like basic things you can find anywhere, like the beginning stitches and stuff. But yeah. Next comment is by Pennell. What is your favourite thing that you've made or to make? My favourite thing I've made is probably my bear. One of my very few New Year's resolutions was to release my own pattern. And obviously I got yarn for Christmas, so I was like, well, this is a perfect time to start trying to make my own pattern. So I thought a bear was probably going to be the easiest thing for me to figure out how to make. So I got crocheting and I managed to make my own bear pattern. It is called Bailey the Bear. You can find it on Etsy. I will leave the link to that pattern down below. It's called Bailey the Bear pattern. Bailey is one of my dogs. And I'm really proud of it. I've got it tested by a lot of people that I trust with, a lot of people that are like high up in their crochet community, shall I say. And yeah, so that is my favourite thing to make, or that I have made. Another question I have, a few questions from this person. Susan, what is the first thing that you ever crocheted? I brought blanket yarn from Amazon. And I was like, oh, I want to make a bee, but I don't want to do it in the regular colours. I want to make it teal. So I brought white, I brought eyes and stuff in, and I decided to make a teal coloured bee. I followed no tutorials. I was like, I can do this, I can make one on my own, I don't need no tutorials, I know how to do a magic ring now, and sort of things like that. So yeah, but it was awful. The gaps in it from my tension are there very obviously. The wings aren't attached. Sorry, I got rudely interrupted by my partner and now I can't remember where I was. But I think I answered the first thing I crocheted. Obviously the teal bee, the wings weren't on, my tension was off, etc, etc. Another question she asked was, when's my birthday? My birthday's in October. I am born in 2003 and it's the 20th of October. I don't know why I made that so complicated to explain, but it's the 20th of October 2003. Another question she's asked is, does crocheting help you ground yourself before or after a seizure? And who is your biggest inspiration and role model? So crochet, it does help take my mind off it, obviously. I was looking for a hobby, as I probably couldn't do most hobbies. I couldn't go into sports or anything like that because I do suffer a lot with paralysis and things like that. So when I found crochet, I thought it was like the perfect hobby for me. And it does help. It takes my mind off a lot of things. Like I said, having seizures every day and losing my legs for a number of weeks or however long they decide to go for, like I said, it does take a toll on my mental health, but crocheting definitely helps keep my mind off it. It definitely makes me feel like I am doing something rather than just sitting around and having seizures. And I now go live every day at 7 PM UK Standard Time, apart from Saturdays, crocheting, and that also has really helped my mental health. I feel like I am crocheting for a purpose. I feel like I'm spreading more awareness. So the answer to that question is yes, it does help ground myself, I guess, after a seizure. It doesn't stop a seizure. I guess if I'm going to have a seizure, I'm going to have a seizure no matter what I'm doing. But it does help my mental health with having seizures. I don't know if I've explained that very well, or if that makes sense to you guys, but yeah, you know what I mean, right? And my biggest inspiration and role model is Passionate Kelsey and Crochet by Jenna. Crochet by Jenna is an amazing YouTuber. She only makes plushies. She does, I'm pretty sure she has made like acrylic or like, you know, like things that aren't plushies before. but she mainly focuses on plushies. She brings out a new pattern every month. She releases a video every week, I think. She's such a kind soul, bless her. And Passionate Kelsey, I've been watching her for years. She releases a video, I think, every other day. She's got her own merch that she's come out with. And yeah, she is definitely someone I am inspired by. If I want to be like anybody in making these videos and with the community that we are building, I definitely am inspired to be like Passionate Kelsey and Crochet by Jenna combined in a way, because obviously Jenna does plushies, Kelsey does wearables and stuff like that, and where I do both, I kind of, those two are definitely my biggest inspirations on how I want my YouTube to go, and with their fan base and all the people that they have. So yeah, so that is definitely my biggest inspiration. And the other question she asked is, what is the hardest part about being a content creator? Now, I don't make any money from this. I do this all in my own time, you know. This is just a hobby at the moment. You have to have a certain amount of subscribers and views and hours, and it's crazy to be able to start earning any money off it, and I am nowhere near there. So that was rude, thanks to my neighbour. So yeah, like I said, I do all this for free, but I feel like the biggest, what was the question? I feel like the hardest part about being a content creator is consistency. I do try and upload 2 videos a week. I'm trying to upload one on a Friday and one on a Tuesday. I do struggle with content ideas, not gonna lie, and I'm trying to upload multiple shorts a day, and then trying to go live every day apart from Saturdays, and then editing the videos and making the thumbnails takes absolute hours. So there isn't a day that goes by where I'm not doing something YouTube related. So I definitely say that the consistency is the hardest part. I lack motivation a lot. But you guys are definitely keeping me motivated. Rude. Sorry about that. But yeah. So I guess that's the answer to that question. So yeah, if you are planning on doing social media, if you are planning on becoming a YouTuber, you need to expect to put you need to expect to put 100% in every single day, literally, or else it's just not going to happen. Emily says, MK Crochet, do you prefer DK or chunky? I prefer a weight 4. I'm currently using DK for this blanket. Let me see if I can try and show you the difference in like size. Hold on. So this is a DK. I don't know if you can see how thin that is. And then I'll show you an Aran as well next to it. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Oh gosh. Can you... Goodness sake, Square, go away. I don't know if you can see the difference. They're crossing over. This is a nightmare, oh my gosh. Can you see the difference in thickness? I actually don't know if you can, and that's really frustrating. But a chunky is definitely like a thicker yarn, and you could definitely tell the thickness. So I would say, where's my phone? Got it. I would definitely say I prefer a weight 4 than a DK. Lauren said, how did you learn? I self-taught myself from YouTube, from a creator called Coco Bella. Bella Coco. None of my family crochet, no one that I know in my family have ever crocheted, so I definitely just went on YouTube, spent hours watching tutorials, you know, getting frustrated, throwing yarn across the room. So yeah, so I self-taught myself from YouTube. Layla said, what is my biggest fear? I have a few. I'm terrified of dying. Yeah. I'm terrified of spiders. I'm terrified of heights. I think those are my biggest 3 fears. Oh, and I'm terrified of feeling or throwing up. I have emetophobia and arachnophobia. So arachnophobia is a condition for spiders of like being scared. See, I'm not good at wording my words. And then emetophobia is obviously where you have a phobia of feeling or being sick, and where I'm always ill, I'm always feeling sick, and I'm just absolutely terrified. Like, I'd say that's probably just under dying. I'd say dying, throwing up, heights, spiders. Yeah, probably in that order. What came first, chicken or the egg? Okay, well that's a bit of a weird question. But Rock asked, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I have no clue. Sorry, Rock. Yeah, and that is actually all the questions answered. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section. Let me know what you want tutorials on. I hope this video has helped you guys. I'm sorry for just waffling on. I feel like I haven't really done much crocheting on the blanket. I apologise for that. But if you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the likes. Thank you so much for all the subscribers. Thank you so much for all the comments. I am absolutely blessed that I have you guys all in my life. And yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!